Let's get some hidden gems in your fantasy drafts on FFT Express. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Aizer and Jamey Eisenberg. So we're just talking about some players that are not getting enough buzz. Maybe you can get them late in your drafts. Who do you got?
We talked about one on our full length episode, and that's Tank Bigsby. The off season hype is sort of carried over to training camp, and we'll sort of see how this plays itself out. But I think if he has the chance to be the lead running back for the Jaguars on an offense that I think a lot of people are excited about, myself included, then it could be a fun situation. And then we're going to see his average draft position rise, and we'll see his rankings certainly follow suit. My last rankings adjustment with the Jaguars running backs, I had them closer. I haven't put him ahead of ETN yet. You brought up something which I think is relevant. What will his role? What will happen in PPR? Who's the better of the two in terms of catching passes? I still think that's going to be ETN. Based on how they used Bigsby last year. But as I said, coordinator change. We could see Bigsby sort of have that career arc of what Ken Walker did last year, of not necessarily being a pass catcher early in his NFL career, and then there was a change in just what happened to Walker, where he was on pace for a 50 catch season. I think Bigsby's track record in college, he had 60 catches in 3 seasons. That's something that he can clearly do. So can he pass protect? That's the question. We'll see about Tootin, who is dealing with a hamstring injury in practice. If he's healthy, how much of a role he'll play. But I think if you're looking at it from a running back perspective, Tank Bigsby is somebody that's certainly earned an opportunity to see his draft stock rise in fantasy leagues.
Somebody I didn't mention on the show that we just recorded, the long one, was DJ Giddens, rookie running back for the Colts. Obviously, he's not going to have a lot of value if Taylor's healthy, but he appears to be the number 2 running back there. I'm just trying to see. This is from Stephen Holder. Rookie running back DJ Giddens looks like RB2 right now and seems like a good fit as a pass-catching third down back. Impressive cutback runner, too. So that's just an article that came out on July 28th. Someone to keep in mind. We talk about handcuffs all the time. This could be a really good one in DJ Giddens.
I'll give you another one. Braelon Allen, who's gotten a lot of positive buzz as well, and could be the David Montgomery. We keep saying, the Detroit offense that Ben Johnson's taking to Chicago. Well, offense coordinator for the Jets was on that Lions coaching staff as well, and he could do something similar with Braelon Allen as the Montgomery role, and Breece Hall in the Jahmyr Gibbs role, and it'd be exciting for both. But Braelon Allen's got huge lottery ticket upside if something were to happen to Breece Hall, and somebody who can maybe play right away in tandem with Hall. So someone that I'm trying to draft with one of my later picks in almost every league.
Braelon Allen, a little bit of knee soreness, mispractice today, but not a big deal. I'm going to give you one more running back. This one surprises me. And, I don't know the date range of this ADP, but I'm assuming most of it is pretty recent. But J.K. Dobbins is still going pretty late. Let me get the exact average draft position on Fantasy Pros, but he's outside the top 100. And I'll keep bringing this up. Last year, Gus Edwards was going ahead of J.K. Dobbins. He's 125th. 125th. They've got arguably the best offensive line in the NFL. And I don't know. Am I reading this wrong? I'm not saying you should take him ahead of RJ Harvey, but 125th overall for potentially the starting running back?
He's easy to draft. And while I hope that Harvey is the better of the two, just based on, my expectations for what I think Harvey can become, you said it. Dobbins may be the starter. Dobbins coming off an amazing season last year. Dobbins may be the better pass protector right away. It's a great situation. He's an injury away from being the full-time guy, if that's the way you want to frame it. So why wouldn't you take him with that ADP if that's where he's living?
Yeah, but what's the difference between him and Ramondre Stevenson?
Yeah.
Maybe should J.K. Dobbins be a top 100 pick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Maybe not top 90, but getting there. Okay.
I mean, we get one report that he's dominating touches in camp, and it's going to skyrocket.
All right. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back and give you some more hidden gems after this on FFT Express. Okay, Jamey, we've talked a lot about running backs. Any other hidden gems?
DeMario Douglas is easy for me right now. Like, just having a strong camp and the slot receiver in the Josh McDaniels offense. Well, imagine if I told you before Wes Welker broke out, or before Julian Edelman broke out, or before Danny Amendola broke out, you had a chance to take one of these guys with late round picks, which is in a lot of cases where they were going. Like, this is now the guy for the Patriots, at least right now. It could be where they want to put Diggs back in the slot, and we see how that unfolds. But Douglas' situation, like he's just somebody that continues to rise up my rankings, and I don't think he's going to crack the top 50. I mean, I shouldn't say. I don't think he's cracked top 40, but he's getting close, and making some plays downfield too. I'm excited about the Patriots, as I think I sort of alluded to in the full length episode. Like I think Drake May's going to have a good season, and I think Douglas is going to be one of these guys that has the third-year breakout. So he's an easy one for me with a late round pick.
Anyone else come to mind?
Josh Palmer, just the guy that's going to seemingly make some plays for the Bills offense. I hope it's Keon Coleman. He's had a strong camp so far. Coleman, I guess you could say, is a hidden gem, just because I think a lot of people forget about him with how all the rookies performed last year and he did not. But it's easy to sort of say Khalil Shakir auto click when he's up in that range of receivers. Maybe you pass on him and you take Coleman a couple rounds later, or even one of your last picks, you take Josh Palmer. So it feels like these two guys are making a lot of plays in camp. Maybe that's just because Shakir is doing his thing and don't have to get a lot of attention. But I think both those guys are going to be relevant at some point this season.
I can fire some more names unless you have some.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we actually also just talked about Bryce Young, maybe more rushing upside than people realize. He was on pace for 391 rushing yards in his last 10 starts. I'm going to take the under on that, but he at least could still be a plus in rushing. And Tetairoa McMillan obviously gives him a weapon that he did not have last year. And he's a young, hopefully improving player. So there's Bryce Young. I think you got to consider Dylan Sampson here because Jerome Ford, he's back. He's almost at full strength. So it's not the injury, but they just have never really seemed intent on giving Jerome Ford a lot of work. And he's probably just the guy. And maybe Sampson is too. They talked about Sampson as more of a third down back, but if the first and second down back is not getting the job done, sometimes they will throw the third down back into that first and second down role. And Dylan Sampson's ADP right now is 194th. I had a few others, but if you want to talk about them while I catch,
there's going to be some receivers that matter at some point during the season. Romeo Dobbs, I know you like him a lot. He's somebody that is going to get overlooked because of Jaden Reed and the bounce back potential and the addition of Matthew Golden and maybe Savion Williams, maybe Dontavian Wicks. Dobbs is not a great player by any means, but he is a relevant player because the Packers like him. And so he may have some moments. Adam Thielen, coming off a strong stretch of games. You mentioned Bryce Young and how he finished the year. Well, a big reason why was Adam Thielen coming back from his hamstring injury and the way that he finished with his final 7 games. Jalen McMillan, I know everybody's looking at it. Godwin's back and hopefully healthy, and we'll see what happens there. And the addition of Emeka Egbuka. The new offense coordinator, Josh Grizzard, continues to rave about Jalen McMillan, and he's going to have an opportunity to make some plays. And if something happens to any of the guys in front of him, Mike Evans included, he could be a league winner, as we saw last year, the way he finished in the final 5 games when Godwin was out. So these guys are not going to be high draft picks by any stretch, but they could be some quality playmakers at some point during the season.
I'll just mention a couple of tight ends real quick, and let's go back to the Patriots. Hunter Henry, tight end 23 in ADP, probably going to be something like tight end 15. But if that pass offense takes a big step, he's going to be a worthwhile streamer. Maybe have a stretch of 5 or 6 games where he's a reliable starter. But with guys like Henry, it always goes, once you buy into them, I know they let you down a little bit, but he's a hidden gem. And honestly, I'm probably going to be on an island here. I think Darren Waller is someone I'm at least interested in. I buy his time off as a good thing. I think he's refreshed. Mike McDaniel said he's in great shape and they're taking it slow with him, but I think he could be a factor. I think he's another guy. He could be like Hunter Henry, a top 15-ish tight end, and he's pretty much an afterthought in drafts.
I give you 2 more, 1 tight end, 1 receiver on the same team, and it's Brenton Strange and Diami Brown. Brown, similar to like a Romeo Dobbs type of player, Adam Thielen type of player, clearly not as much upside as we've seen, but they may have Travis Hunter playing a lot of defense, and that could lead to Brown being a big-time player from an opportunity standpoint in this Jacksonville offense. And Brenton Strange, look, he had some good numbers last year when Evan Ingram went down. Mac Jones was the quarterback, and now they've invested in Strange as their lead tight end. So that's something to keep an eye on. Just one thing about Waller is the Dolphins have brought in Noah Fant for a workout. That could either be an indication that Waller may not be ready to go, or they may add Noah Fant, which I think would just make it very messy for both those guys.
One last name, sorry. I just continue to be, I don't know, not blown away. I understand it, but I think Christian Kirk is a really good pick.
Yeah,
it's going around 12. 140th overall on Football Guys, a little bit later than that on Fantasy Pros. So I like Christian Kirk. I think he could be a number 3 receiver in full PPR you could get him as your number 5 receiver. Maybe even later. Okay, Jamey, thank you so much. These are some hidden gems. We want to thank you all for watching and listening to FFT Express. We will talk to you on Thursday, I believe is our next Express, but certainly on FFT tomorrow. See ya.